Welcome to Proven and Probable. Today we're going to highlight an exploration company that has just announced a 60% earn-in on their flagship project in Saskatchewan, Canada. But before we begin, as always, I would appreciate if you click the subscribe button, click the bell, and give us a thumbs up, and make sure you share today's interview with your family and friends. Now, on to today's interview. Joining us for a conversation is Tim Termuende, the CEO of Taiga Gold. Mr. Termuende, welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you very much for having me, Maurice. Always a pleasure.
Well, glad to have you back on the program because you have some exciting news, very exciting news, by the way, for shareholders on the Fisher Gold Project. Before we begin, Mr. Termuende, please introduce us to Taiga Gold and the opportunity before us.
Sure. Taiga is actually a relatively new company. We spun out from Eagle Plains Resources, the parent company, in April 2018 on a 1-for-2 basis. So 2 shares of Eagle Plains got you 1 share of Taiga. So we trade on the CSE under the symbol TGC. Our flagship property is the Fisher Gold Project, and it is contiguous with the Seabee gold operation being run by SSR Mining, who took out Claude Resources to purchase the Seabee gold operation. We've also got a number of projects outside of the Fisher project, 4 or 5 other ones, but the Fisher is certainly the flagship. The Fisher is significant to us and to SSR Mining, who have had an option on the Fisher property for the last 4 years now, and they've spent a fair amount of money on the Fisher property, and just gave us a notice in the last couple of days that they intend, or they have exercised their earn-in to earn 60% of the Fisher property.
Oh, that's exciting. And I'm a shareholder myself, full disclosure. Speaking of that, this is a huge milestone. I know you've been working behind the scenes, your entire team has diligently, and it's a real win for shareholders. Walk us through the earn-in agreement and what it means really for shareholders.
Sure. It's an interesting agreement. Over the last 4 years, SSR has been required to spend $4 million on exploration work on the Fisher property. They initially reimbursed Eagle Plains, who was the original owner of Fisher before it got transferred to Taiga. They reimbursed Eagle Plains $400,000. And over the 4 years of the option agreement, since it went into Taiga's hands, they've been making annual cash payments of $75,000 to Taiga. So in essence, for them to earn 60, they had to spend $4 million and make $800,000 in cash payments to Taiga. Very interestingly, though, they've already spent well over $11 million on the property, so they've almost tripled their requirements at their cost to do more work on the Fisher property. They're clearly very encouraged by what they're seeing, and the reason too, people ask me, well, why would they overspend by that much? It's an interesting agreement in that once they earn 60, which they have just done, they have a relatively short time period to decide whether to go to 80%. So they've got 1 year now to decide whether to go to 80%. If they choose to go to 80%, we will form an 80-20 joint venture. They will pay us $3 million in cash on formation of the joint venture, and they are required to pay us $100,000 a year in advance royalty payments. So it's really a very big windfall for Taiga Gold. Plus, then we become partners with SSR Mine in SSR Mining in exploring the property further.
In addition to that, you also have an NSR. Is that correct?
Yeah, we have 2.5% NSR on the entire property. That NSR is reduced in a couple of areas of the property because we've got underlying agreements with other prospectors and former property owners. We put together the property 5 or 6 years ago we consolidated the land in the area. We had the lion's share of the area covered by the claims now, but we did have to do a couple of small deals with underlying owners to get them into the project boundaries. So there are some small NSRs that come with those.
Sorry for the interruption, folks, but I do want to remind you, everything we're covering today with Mr. Termuende, you can find in the description box below. And if you like our content, I would appreciate if you click the subscribe button, click the bell, and give us a thumbs up, and be sure to share today's interview with your family and friends. Now, back to the interview. I see the success and the acumen from Eagle Plains here in Taiga Gold as a prospect generator, basically. In the model in this transaction, you're using the joint venture and you're maximizing basically leverage here for someone who doesn't understand how that actually works. And the big question I think everyone wants to know now is when can we expect drilling to commence? And the all-important question is, when should we expect results?
Yeah, drilling is actually underway right now, still on the property. It has been since mid-September. This year, SSR has done, I believe, over 12,000 meters of drilling on the property. So they're going great guns. There's drill turning as we speak right now. We get reports on a quarterly basis from them. So the drilling they're doing right now, we won't see results from that until the early 2021 in January. And that's just been the way it's going all the way along. The last significant results we received were from the winter drilling they did in January, February, March of this year. And while they were doing that work, they actually made discoveries in 3 different areas of the property. They were targeting 4 specific areas along the Santoy Shear. These areas were 2 or 3 kilometers apart, but they had soil anomalies that they were testing. And remarkably, of the 4 target areas that they were testing, they actually discovered gold in 3 of those 4 areas. So that's created a lot of excitement for us and clearly for them. They're putting their money where their mouth is right now by exercising the earn-in, by seriously looking at whether to go to 80% or not. So the sort of the watershed event here happened earlier this year in January, February, March. That program was stopped early because of COVID. That's, if you'll recall, in early March this year, a lot of uncertainty came with the recognition of COVID all over the place. And so to err on the side of caution, they shut the program down. They are now going back. They are now drilling again. They're actually even processing some of the core that they didn't get to in that March program because it was stopped suddenly. So we're expecting a lot of results to come. We're quite hopeful. The past few years they've been sort of testing the Santoy Shear along its length. But now that they've made these 4 discoveries, they are now focused on these 4 areas, and they are targeted exploration now. Their goal is to drill an inferred resource, and we would love to see that happen. It would make it a lot easier for people to value Taiga. Right now, it's sort of nebulous. We have a 20-kilometer target structure that has been just barely tested so far, but the big question is how much gold is there and where do we find it?
Mr. Tamundi, please provide us with an update on the current capital structure for Taiga Gold.
Yeah, we have roughly 80 million shares outstanding. The predecessor company, Eagle Plains, actually holds 12 million shares, so that's very strategic for us too. It gives us a very solid, control of our share structure. Our directors and insiders and friends of the company own millions more. We're probably 25 to 30% of the stock is in very, very safe hands. And again, because it was a spin-out from Eagle Plains, a lot of the Taiga shareholders are Eagle Plains shareholders. Eagle Plains has been around for 25 years. We've got a very, very loyal shareholder base. So, we're very, very comfortable with the share structure right now.
Let's take a look at the treasury. How does it look right now, and what do you plan to do with this new capital coming into the treasury?
Yeah, at the end of our Q3, which was September 30th, we had over $800,000 in the treasury. We should SSR go to 80%, we will have another $3 million in our treasury, and we will obviously use that money to further exploration on the Fisher property, because once the joint venture starts, we will be on the hook for 20% of the exploration expenditures, but we're very confident that we will be participating every step of the way. We love the project. We like the potential that SSR obviously sees too. So we want to stay in the game and plan to do that all the way along.
It sounds like a win-win proposition for both parties involved. In closing, multi-layered question. What is the next unanswered question for Taiga Gold? When can we expect a response, and what determines success?
Well, I touched on it earlier. The big question right now is how much gold is on the Fisher property and our other properties. I mean, we do have a number, 5 other projects there that SSR is not involved in. We've got other partners on those, but the value of the company is a direct result of our exploration success. We're a very experienced exploration crew. We've got geologists under our roof that have worked with us for 20 years, and so we're quite confident in our abilities. And as far as future successes, it will come at the end of a drill bit. Again, I mentioned that reporting from SSR happens every 90 days, so those will be coming steadily. We also control these other projects. So we have the Leland property, which is optioned off to SKRR Exploration. They're talking right now about doing a drill program on that over the winter. We also have our Orchid project that is 100% Taiga. It has a number of very high grade gold occurrences that have not been tested by drilling. So we're looking at drilling that ourselves as a 100% owned entity there, and so we'll control news flow on that. And as far as that goes, I think there'll be a lot of news flow over the coming months, over the winter months. The beauty of working in Saskatchewan too is it's not a seasonal exploration thing. We can drill in the summer or we can drill in the winter. It's actually quite a lot more efficient in some places to be drilling in the winter in Saskatchewan, because some of these areas are boggy or swampy ground, and once they're frozen, you can get on them easily and drill. So we're looking at steady news flow over the next year or so, the coming months for sure.
Oh, looking forward to it. Sir, what keeps you up at night that we don't know about?
Well, I guess you know about COVID. Everybody does. That certainly is a concern for me, seeing these rising numbers right now. It did cause an interruption of the last drilling program on the Fisher property. I hope it doesn't do it anymore. The SSR guys have very stringent safety protocols in place, and they're very conscientious about keeping contact to a minimum. So yeah, COVID on short. Also, again, like everybody, the uncertainty of the U.S. election, I think, is on everybody's mind. I think the economic implications are certainly up in the air, but I think no matter how that the election results pan out in the end, I think it's bullish for gold. So in that regard, I think we've got a bright future with gold anyhow.
Mr. Tamundi, last question. What did I forget to ask?
Well, I guess I didn't speak too much about it, but yeah, we're not just a one-trick pony too. The Fisher property is clearly getting the news, and it's the most exciting right now, and it's had $11 million in exploration on it so far in the last few years. But we do have these other projects. We've got the Chico project, the Leland, the Mary Lake, and the Orchid project that all have great potential. They're all in the same area. We love working in Saskatchewan. We're in this called the Trans-Hudson Corridor, which is a really underexplored belt of rocks that trends down into the northern United States, into South Dakota. And part of this corridor includes the Homestake deposit, which was a 43 million ounce gold deposit in South Dakota. There are structural connections from a number of our projects to down into South Dakota along that Taberner fault that transcends through a couple of our projects. So we're very excited about our other projects as well. We're happy to see the way Fisher's going. It's right on track. We really hope that SSR takes it to an 80-20 JV. That would suit us just fine. And, again, with the funds we'll get from that, we'll be able to not only participate in exploration of Fisher further, but we'll be able to use those funds to further our other projects as well that are either optioned to other people or we have them 100%. So we're in very, very good position right now for a rising gold bull market.
Good to hear. Mr. Tamundi, it's been an absolute delight to speak with you today. Wishing you and Taiga Gold the absolute best, sir. Taiga Gold trades on the CSC, symbol TGC, and on the OTC, symbol TGGDF. Taiga Gold is a sponsor of Proven and Probable, and we are proud shareholders for the virtues conveyed in today's message. Before you make your next bullion purchase, make sure you call me. I'm a licensed representative to buy and sell physical precious metals through Miles Franklin Precious Metals Investments, but we have several options to expand your precious metals portfolio, from physical delivery directly to your home in the form of gold, silver, platinum, palladium, and rhodium, to offshore depositories and precious metal IRAs. Give me a call at 855-505-1900, or you may email maurice@milesfranklin.com. Finally, please subscribe to Proven and Probable for mining insights and bullion sales. Subscription is free.
The information presented on Proven and Probable is provided for educational and informational purposes only, without any express or implied warranty of any kind, including warranties of accuracy, completeness, or fitness for any particular purpose. The information is not intended to be and does not constitute financial, investment, or trading advice, or any other advice. You should not make any financial, investment, or trading decision based on any of the information presented without first undertaking independent due diligence and consultation with a professional broker or competent financial advisor.